Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. My name is Nur Almasafia binti Muhammad Jeffrey. My metric number is 424-10651D. Today, I'm going to talk about the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 or OSHA 1994. This act is actually one of the most important law in Malaysia when it's come to protecting people at work. If we think about it, most of us or our family members usually go to work almost every day. Some work in office, some in factories, but no matter where we work, one thing is the same where we all expect to be safe. We expect to go to work healthy and come back home safely. That expectation is exactly why OSHA 1994 exists. Before this act was introduced, workplace safety was not always taken seriously. Accidents and injuries happened more frequently because there were less awareness and weaker enforcements. Safety was sometimes treated as something optional, so the government introduced OSHA as a more organized and preventive law. Instead of waiting for accidents to happen and then punishing companies, OSHA focuses on preventing the accident in the first place. What makes OSHA special is that it promotes shared responsibility. It's not just the employer duty and it's not just the employee duty. Both sides must cooperate together. Employer must provide safe equipment, proper training and a safe working system. At the same time, employee must follow safety instructions and take care of themselves and others. This balance creates a culture where safety becomes part of everyday work life, not just a rule written in a book. Next, I will explain about the important section under OSHA 1994. I will explain the first three important sections, which is Section 1, Section 4, and Section 17. First is Section 1, which is short title and application. This section may sound simple, but it is actually very important. Section 1 basically tells us where the law applies and who must follow it. It states that OSHA applies to the most workplace and industry in Malaysia. However, there are few exceptions such as certain centers that are governed by other specific law. Why is this section important? Because before we talk about duties and responsibility, we must first know whether the law applies to that workplace. Section 1 gives clarity. It prevents confusion and excuses. A company cannot simply say this law doesn't apply to us because Section 1 clearly defines its scope. So in a way, this section lays the foundation for the whole act. Without it, the rest of the law cannot function properly. Next is Section 4, Objective of the Act. Section 4 explains the main purpose of OSHA itself. It tells us why this act exists. The first objective is to ensure the safety, health, and welfare of people at work. That means protecting workers from accidents, injuries, and occupational disease. The second objective is to protect other people who might be affected by workplace activities. This could include visitors, customers, or even the public. The Act also aims to create a work environment that supports not only physical safety, but also employee psychological well-being. And most importantly, it encourages self-regulation, meaning employers and employees should take initiative to manage risk, not just wait to authorities to force them. What I find meaningful about Section 4 is that it emphasizes prevention. OSHA is not just about penalties. It encourages organizations to identify hazards yearly, improve safety system, and continuously monitor risk. Section 4 is act like a guide. Whenever there is confusion about interpreting the law, we can refer back to its objective. It keeps workplace safety as the main priority. Lastly, I explain about the Section 17, which is general duties of employees and self-employed person to person other than their employees. This section expands the responsibility of employers. It says that employers must also protect people who are not their employees but may be affected by their work activities. For example, visitors, contractors, customers, or members of the public. This is very important because workplace activity do not only affect workers inside the building. Imagine a construction site near a public road. If safety measures are not properly managed, pedestrians could be injured. Or if a factory releases harmful substance, nearby communities could be affected. Section 70 ensures that employers think beyond their own staff. They must consider how their operation impact others. So safety is not limited within the company walls. It extends to everyone who might be exposed to the risk. So as we all know, OSHA 1994 is more than just a legal requirement. It represents the Malaysia commitment to protecting people at work, such as Section 1 define who the law applies to. Section 4 explains the purpose and direction of the Act, and Section 17 reminds employers that their responsibility go beyond their employees to include the wider community. This section shows the workplace safety is about awareness, responsibility, and cooperation. So next, the other three sectors and section, my partner will discuss about it. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Siti Nur Aisyah binti Muhammad Azrul and my metric number is 4243001501. So I will continue from Alma's part. So I will explain several important sections under the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 Part 2, which is I will explain about the section 15, 16 and also 18. So firstly, section 15, which focus on the duties of employer. Under this section, employer are responsible for ensuring the safety, health and welfare of their employees at work. This includes providing safe machinery and equipment, ensuring proper handling and storage substance, and giving adequate training and supervision, and also maintaining suitable welfare facilities such as clean toilet and drink water. So second is section 16, which requires employer to prepare a written safety and health policy. These policies must clearly state the organization's commitment to workplace safety and health. It should be systematic, kept up to date, and properly communicated to all employees so that everyone understands their roles and responsibilities in maintaining a safe working environment. So next is section 18, which explains the duties of occupiers of workplace. Occupiers must ensure that the premises are safe and do not pose risk to anyone. These include providing safe access and exit routes, maintaining building and facility properly, and ensuring that visitor or non-employees are also protected from workplace hazard. So moving on to the part 3, these slides focus on responsible beyond employers and employee, which is under the section 18A and also section 19. Firstly, section 18A outlines the duties of principal, especially in workplaces involving contractor or subcontractor. Principal are responsibility for ensuring that contractors comply with safety and health requirements. They must also coordinate safety measures so that work activity do not create risk to workers from different companies operating at the same workplace. Next is section 19, which deals with penalty. This section states that failure to comply with OSHA 1994 can result in serious consequence. Employer or individual who break the law may face fines, imprisonment, or both. These penalties are intended to enforce compliance and emphasize the importance of prioritizing safety and health at work. In conclusion, Part 3 reinforces that safety responsibility is shared by all parties involved and that legal action will be taken against those who ignore safety obligation.
Now I will talk about workplace accident case analysis. For the first one is the Jackson Group factory, which places at the Port Klang, occur at Factory 1, which manufactured adhesive, sealants and coatings. The fire was caused by weak maintenance, poor fire prevention and a lack of emergency preparedness. This incident demonstrates how neglect basic safety measures can lead to serious consequences. Under OSHA 1994, Section 15 requires employers to ensure that safety, health, and welfare of their employees, while Section 16 emphasizes the need for a proper safety and health policy. Section 17 extends duties to outsiders who may be affected, and Section 18 covers occupiers of the premise. In this case, the employer failed to meet this obligation, showing that compliance is not just avoiding penalties, it is about protecting the life. The lesson here is that corrective action must be continuous and safety system must be reviewed and improved regularly to prevent similar accidents from being happen. Now I will talk about the second part of the case analysis. For the second part is, on a national scale, the Department of Occupational Safety and Health, OSHA, report that more than 4,400 workplace accidents between January and May 2025, including 94 fatalities. The manufacturing sector was the most affected, with common causes such as unsafe machinery, poor supervision, and weak contractor coordination. These figures highlight systemic weaknesses in workplace safety management. OSHA 1994 addressed this issue through Section 15, which places duties on employers, Section 18A, which outlines the responsibility of principals in managing contractors, and Section 19, which set penalties for non-compliance. The statistics reinforce that enforcement must be strict and safety policies must be updated to reflect current risks. Without structure, system, and proper coordination, accidents will continue to occur and lives will be lost. This shows that safety is not just a legal requirement but a moral responsibility for every organization.
I'm Atika Nur Aini binti Azmalia. My mentor number is 4241000421. For this part, I will explain the risk assessment and control method that management should implement based on OSHA 1994. Following the fire incident at Factory 1 in Port Klang involving GRP Sdn Berhad, a subsidiary of Kumpulan Jet Sail Berhad. As a member of the management team, we have a legal obligations under the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, particularly Part 1 to Part 4, including Section 4, 15, 16, 18A and 18B, to ensure that the workplace is safe and does not pose risk to employees or other persons. This section clearly places responsibility on the employer to take preventive and corrective measures after an accident occurs. After the fire incident, the first action management must take is to conduct a comprehensive risk assessment as required under Section 18B of OSHA 1994. The first step is in this assessment is hazard identifications. Since Factory 1 manufactures adhesives, sealants, and coating products, the workplace is exposed to flammable and hazardous chemicals. Other possible hazards include improper chemical storage, defective electrical systems, overheated machinery, insufficient ventilation, and unsafe work practices. All these factors increase the likelihood of a fire if not properly controlled. Once the hazards are identified, management must evaluate the level of risk by considering both the likelihood of the fire occurring and the severity of its consequences. Although the reported incident only resulted in one major injury, the outcome could have been much more serious due to the presence of flammable materials and industrial machinery. This showed that the working environment involved high risk and required immediate corrections actions. In compliance with Section 15 of OSHA 1994, management must implement suitable control measures. Engineering controls should be prioritized.
This includes installing and maintaining proper fire detections and alarm systems, automatic fire suppression systems such as sprinklers, and improving ventilation systems to prevent the accumulations of chemical weapons. Machinery and electrical installations must also be regularly inspected and maintained. In addition, flammable chemical must be stored properly to reduce the risk of ignitions. Besides engineering control, administrative controls are also necessary. Management should develop clear standard operating procedures for handling hazardous substances and conduct regular safety inspections, especially in high-risk areas. Access to these areas should be limited to authorized personnel only. Emergency procedures for fire response and evacuations must be clearly communicated to all employees as required under Section 15 subsection 2, paragraph F. In line with Section 16, the employer must also establish and communicate a clear occupational safety and health policy. Training and supervisions are equally important under Section 15 subsections 2, paragraph C. Employee must receive proper training on fire safety, emergency procedures, safe chemical handling, and the correct use of firefighting equipment. Regular fire drills should be conducted to ensure employees are prepared during emergencies. Continuous supervision is also needed to ensure that safety procedures are consistently followed. Personal protective equipment or PPE also plays an important role. Management must provide appropriate PPE such as fire-resistant clothing, gloves, goggles, and respiratory equipment to minimize the risk of injury when employees are exposed to hazardous substances. Furthermore, since the company has relocated part of its operations and outsourced some production activities, Section 18A regarding the duties of principals applies. Management must ensure that contractors and subcontractors comply with the same safety standard and are not exposed to unnecessary risks while performing their works. In conclusion, based on OSHA 1994 Parts 1 to 4, GRP Sdn Bhd must implement a systematic risk assessment and control approach to address the causes of the fire incidents. By strengthening engineering controls, administrative measures, training, supervisions, and PPE usage, management can reduce the likelihood of similar incidents in the future while fulfilling its legal obligations and ensuring a safer workplace for all employees. Thank you. That's all from me. Next, my teammate will explain the following sections.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Puniswaran. For this slide, I will explain daily safety preparations that management should practice to prevent workplace incidents from recurring. First, OSHA compliance is very important. Management must conduct routine checks of equipment and workplace conditions to detect hazard early. This includes checking machinery, electrical systems, and the overall working environment to ensure everything is safe before operations begin. Second, this aligns with Section 15 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, which states that employers must provide and maintain a safe systems of work, safe machinery, and proper supervision. By carrying out daily inspection, management is fulfilling its legal responsibility to protect employers and prevent avoidable accidents. Lastly, daily safety briefings or toolbox talks are essential. These short sessions remind employers about workplace hazards, safe procedures, and proper use of personal protective equipment. Regular briefing reduces complacency and help workers stay alert, which lower the risk of accidents. Moving on the next slide, another important preparation is hazard reporting and communication. Management should encourage employees to immediately report unsafe conditions such as damaged equipment or blocked emergency exits. Early reporting allows supervisors to take quick action before the hazard becomes a serious incident. This proactive approach helps prevent accidents instead of reacting after they happen. Another key preparation is strengthening the safety culture within the organization. Management must reinforce that safety is everyone's responsibility. When employees are aware and actively involved in safety practices, it reduces human error and boosts long term compliance. A strong safety culture ensures that workplace safety is consistently maintained and constantly improved. In conclusion, daily inspection, safety briefings, hazard reporting, and strong communication are practical steps that management can implement to prevent incidents from repeating in the future. Thank you.
So, lastly is for conclusion. To conclude, the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 is not just a legal requirement, but a shared responsibility to protect workers in Malaysia. It clearly outlined the duties of employer, employees, occupiers, and principal to ensure that workplace remains safe and healthy. Throughout this presentation, we have seen how OSHA 1994 emphasized prevention rather than reaction. By implementing proper safety policies, conducting risk assessment, providing training, and ensuring daily safety preparation, organizations can reduce accident and protect their workers from harm. Also, workplace accident can lead to serious injuries, financial losses, and damage to an organization's reputation. Therefore, compliance with OSHA 1994 is essential not only to avoid penalties, but also to build a strong safety culture within the organization. In summary, workplace safety should always be a priority. When safety becomes part of daily practice, it benefits employees, employers, and the organization as a whole. So that's all from now. Thank you.